Okay, now we're going to address absolute value inequalities. These are a little bit trickier, but not that much. The first thing you need to remember is that the absolute value bars, what that means is the absolute value of something is distance or distance from zero. And if you think about it, if you are taking steps either that direction or that direction, going from zero, let's say that's -5 and that's 5. If you are taking steps and you go from 0 to this number in that direction, you took 5 steps. And from 0 to 5, you took 5 steps. It's the distance, this distance, and this distance is 5. That's why absolute value always produces a positive amount, because it's talking about distance. But the trick is, once you have the absolute value bars by themselves, sometimes they make it a little bit more tricky. There's stuff on the outside. The absolute value bars by themselves, you have to set it up so it looks almost, well, is it this distance? So in this case, it would be 6, -6, and +6. So what you do is you remove the absolute value bars and you write the first equation, just get rid of that, just as it is right here. So b subtract 10 is less than or equal to 6. But then you have to rewrite the other equation and you set it not equal to, but in this case, kind of equal to -6, because you could be going this direction. But because this is now, the sign has flipped, you have to flip that inequality sign. So one of the most important things that when you're solving inequalities, absolute value inequalities, the second equation, you will flip the inequality sign. There is another way to do it where you wouldn't flip, but I prefer this method because it shows the two distances, 6 and -6. And then just solve like you normally would. To get b by itself, the inverse of subtracting 10 is adding 10. And look at, we could do that on both equations. And then when you simplify that, 6 plus 10 is 16. So b are all the values that are smaller or equal to, so I'm going to put square bracket, graph that. All right. And that would be the interval notation. B are all the values that are touching 16 and are smaller. So this is what the interval notation would look like. Now we're going to come over here and solve this one. So we added 10 to both sides. Well, -6 plus 10 is 4. This says b is all the values greater than or equal to 4. So at 4, I'm going to put square bracket, whoops, and then shade. And then remember, shade directly on the line, on the axis. And then that's that interval notation. And I'm going to put a union symbol between the two of those. And then look at what I'm going to see if we use a different color. One good thing to pay attention to when the absolute value inequality starts with a less than or equal sign, it tends to produce an and situation, an and statement. Let's see if we did another one. No, we didn't do another one. So my guess is if it would have started off being b subtract 10 is greater than or equal to 6, we would have ended up having an or statement. All right, that's absolute value inequalities setting up to equation. That's it.